You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
You're listening to the Pelicans post-game report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
That's right. You're listening to the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. We the podcast for everything Pelicans, like the young lady said. And this is February 27, 2018. Podcast 153. That's right, 153. And in this podcast, we will be recapping the fantastic win the Pelicans had last night against the Phoenix Suns, 125-116. We'll be covering that game with fat stats and breakdowns, interviews, among others, as we come in today. But first and foremost, before we get started, we'd like to give a round of applause to all of the fans, all of the sports family and supporters and sharers of our show. Thank you for what you do and how you help as we continue to build our platform moving forward. On today's Pelican post-game report 153, like I said, we'll be covering the Pelicans 125-116 overtime win. Excuse me, not overtime. I'm used to calling it overtime, but regular win over the Phoenix Suns, 125-116. Nice win, man. Big time win for the Pelicans. The Phoenix Suns not that good of a team. One of the worst teams in the NBA in terms of records. But when it comes down to spunk, those guys have a lot as they played pretty well going into the fourth and until the Pelicans were able to separate themselves and get this sixth straight win. Let's go into the rundown brought to you by the good folks at The Posh Lifestyle. That's www.theposhlifestyle.com. That's life spelled with a Y, L-Y-F-E style.com. Not just a website, but a lifestyle. Carriers of organic supplements, water filters, air filters, music, hair, 10A grade hair, all kind of wonderful items. Just dozens of hundreds of items at fantastic prices, great quality, everything that you could possibly want at The Posh Lifestyle. Mention the sports coma in the coupon section and get 10% off on your overall price at the good folks at theposhlifestyle.com. Now here's our rundown for today. We'll break down with stats, facts, and analysis on interviews. We'll have on the game. Then we'll have interviews from L. Gentry as he chime in. Anthony Davis, who had a fantastic night, 53-point night for AD. Big ups to him as well. Jrue Holiday will chime in too. And then we'll talk about AD's record set in February and why he should be mentioned in MVP talk. Why the hell not? They don't talk about it. Of course, a lot of the networks like ESPN and the rest of those guys, they only like to talk about the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. But guess what? There are other teams out there that's pretty damn good, and the Pelicans are one of them. Playing at a very high level, and they have a superstar, two actually, but one right now that's actually healthy, and Anthony Davis, and he's giving you things that the league hasn't seen in 30-something odd years. So we'll get into that. Also, we'll talk about the Pelicans playing more as a team. It's kind of ironic and odd when DeMarcus Cousins went down. It went to a little tailspin, made a few moves, shipped out some garbage, brought in some players, and all of a sudden, the Pelicans have a team camaraderie. They were struggling with that for most of the year. But now, the Pelicans on their first 6-game winning streak in a very long time. We'll get into that. Pelicans also climb with this win up to the 5th seed in the Western Conference playoff race. That was very big as well. We'll get into that. We'll also talk about the first 6-game winning streak since 2011. Like I mentioned, we'll talk about that. Third quarter troubles trouble us no more. And that's due into part for a bunch of reasons, but we'll specifically break down why the third quarter will not be an issue for the Pelicans moving forward if the team remains healthy. We'll also talk about the Pelicans hit the road. They have 4 straight road games, a very rough 4-game stretch on the road, starting off with the Spurs and ending with the Kings. We'll get into that and let you know about that. And also toward the second segment, tail in the second segment of the show, we'll preview the San Antonio Spurs matchup on Wednesday night. We'll give you our predictions. We'll preview, break it down, and then we'll give predictions on who we think will win and why. With all that said and done, let's get right into it. Pelicans knock off the Phoenix Suns 125-116 in a major fashion, climbing up the chain. Anthony Davis finished masterfully today. 53 points, 18 rebounds for Anthony Davis. He had 5 blocks in this game. He was everywhere. Followed by Jrue Holiday, who put down 20 points and 7 assists, played some really good defense as usual. I have nothing but praise for Jrue Holiday. This is the Jrue Holiday that is worth that kind of money. $100 million. This Jrue Holiday, this version of Jrue Holiday, if he can maintain this intensity offensively and defense, this is the guy that the team needs to make deep postseason runs. Also, Emeka Okafor had a fantastic game. He had 14 points. He had 4 rebounds, but he was 5 of 5 shooting the ball. Go ahead, Emeka. And he is a renewed calm and playing real stellar basketball. So, this Pelican team had a lot of really nice moves. Got to give Dale Demp some credit here about some of the moves that he made on the back end as the Pelicans move forward. They're going to get a couple of pieces back to get ready for the playoff run. They'll get Solomon Hill back. And eventually, they'll get Alexis Jinka back in April. So those 2 pieces can come in, fit with these pieces, and we might have a team that nobody wants to see in the first couple of rounds of the playoffs. But anyway, before we get into more of the stats, let's listen to Coach Gentry's thinking on the win over the Suns.
He's just playing great basketball. I don't know what else to say about it. I just think that, he's dominating on both ends. He's carrying the load offensively, rebounding the basketball. He's just playing really good basketball. I think we started the game tonight. We were a little tired. Our legs were a little tired, but it's like I told them, you got to get over it. I mean, that's the way it's going to be when if you're a playoff basketball team, after the first round, you're going to play, a lot of basketball quickly. So you just got to mentally get by the part where you're feeling tired and just go out and try to win the game. I thought AD did great, and the other guys really, we just kind of pushed through. Didn't have our usual pop, but we found a way to win. That's a good team. I mean, I know their record is not very good, but Devin Booker is as good as any 2-guard in this league. The guy's terrific, and then they got other guys that can score the basketball. Really athletic team. Their whole thing right now is that they're just a young team. They're gonna be all right if they just keep those guys and let the whole thing, the process go through, I think.
The third quarter obviously had been a trouble spot for this team. Tonight, you outscored Phoenix by 14 in the third. What was the impetus and the spark that got you going?
No, we were great in Milwaukee in the third quarter also. The thing that we've talked about is that we have to come out and refocus and pretend like it's the opening quarter in the game and try to, bring energy. And I thought Milwaukee we were really good. Tonight we were really good.
Have you ever seen a big like Davis or anyone foul out an entire front court like he did?
No, I have not. And obviously, being his coach, I thought there was a few more free throws he could have shot. So I'm sure I'm a little biased in that, but he's just playing great. I think he's got a good chance to be player of the week. Yeah.
Did you feel you needed, like when you come out slow, you're down 17, did you need him to kind of carry y'all offensively?
No, we just needed to play better, collectively. It wasn't one guy that we said, hey, you got to get us over the hump. We told all the guys we got to pick up our energy. I thought the dribble penetration was hurting us. I thought we were atrocious as far as our transition defense getting back. And I thought all of that changed in the second half where we were locked in and took away some of the transition baskets. they're really good. They get out and they push the basketball, and they're very athletic. So when that ball is shot, on the rise of the shot, you've got to be sprinting back or they're going to be on top of it.
Can you talk about Emeka's offensive contribution tonight? 14 points, he's hitting his jumper.
Yeah, he just did a great – he's been really, really fun to have here. I think our guys got a lot of respect for him. Coaches got a lot of respect for him, the way he came in, the way he came in here and the work, the ethic that he had, and he's just a total team guy. So he's been a real welcome addition, and I think he's played well for us. I mean, I don't even, the 5-for-5 thing is great, but just his presence on the court, I think, has been really good for us.
You win 6 straight. I think you matched your wins from last year. Does this feel like it's where you want to be at this point? Like
that's Coach Gentry.
No, what we want to be is where
his, comments
Houston is.
After the win over the Phoenix Suns, and particularly was talking about Anthony Davis being the player of the week. As you noticed, the reporters laughed because they're like, player of the week, man, this dude is producing at an MVP level. Damn, the player of the week. He had that in the bag, But but Gentry's right. The acquisition of Emeka Okafor was huge. Now, we lambasted the hell out of Dale Demps because he made a lot of curious calls that deserved to be lambasted. The Nikolai Mirotic call was a no-brainer. Of course, Nikolai Mirotic brings something that the team lacked since, I would say, a shooter of his size and caliber, since they had a guy like Ryan Anderson here. But his defense is severely more superior to what anything Ryan Anderson ever produced. But I just love the way this team is gelled and the way they're playing. Right now, the Pelicans are awesome. And if you're a Pelican fan, you got to be gleaming and beaming with confidence as the team's first time, winning this amount of games in a very long time. We're looking at some of the numbers right here. They've shot 47% from the field in this game against Phoenix's 43%. Then you look at the fact that the Pelicans didn't do that well shooting the three-point ball, as they were only 29% from the field, shooting 8 of 28. The Phoenix Suns wasn't much better late, 7 of 24 for 29% as well. The Pelicans got to the line 40 times in this game. I think that's some kind of record. They only converted 31 to 40. They got 31 points from the free throw line, getting that 40. And a lot of that's due to Anthony Davis attacking the paint. They didn't win the rebound battle, but they didn't lose it that well. They only lost by 3. The thing about the Phoenix that kept them in, of course, Coach Gentry mentioned the transition defense, is the fact that the Pelicans, they were beaten on offensive board 14-9. And that's usually a stat that the team usually has improved upon because of the addition and the onus of getting offensive second chance rebounds. The Pelicans had 30 assists on the day. They finished with several steals. They had 8 blocks, 5 of which came from Anthony Davis. They had 14 turnovers, in which the opposition scored 18 points off, versus Phoenix had 14 turnovers, where the Pelicans scored 16 points off, so basically a dead heap. Also, the team did win the points in the paint battle, 58-56, but not by very much. And the Pelicans did keep their fouls down. They had 22 versus – they had 3 bigs that fouled out in this game. So, the Phoenix Suns, not a very good team, 18-44, 19-21 on the road, but they did give them a hell of a run in this game. Devin Booker was everything for this team. And they have some young pieces in place, like Gentry said, but they're not ready for what the Pelicans produce today. Looking at the rest of the scoring, Jrue Holiday finished with 20 points, 7 assists on the day, 20 and 7 for Jrue Holiday in 33 minutes, but his defense was very present. 14 points from Emeka Okafor on 5 of 5 shooting, finished with 14 points, 4 rebounds. He also added a block in that matrix. Nikolai Mirotic in 25 minutes of action struggled. He's been struggling the last couple of games, but he put up 10 points. 8 rebounds. He had a block as well in this contest. So Nikolai struggling a bit, but still able to contribute to help the team. That's the only other players that were in double figures. Rajon Rondo played a lot of minutes in this game. Not as nearly as effective as he was in the previous contest, but he played 36 minutes. He struggled shooting 2 of 9, 0 for 2 from downtown. He did have 6 points, but he distributed the ball very well. He had 12 assists in the game and also 5 rebounds. So Rajon Rondo, he struggled offensively, but he facilitated the ball. He also had some pretty good defensive stops and moving around, making a few things happen for the team. And you got to give it up to the fact that Rajon Rondo is one of those dudes, man, that just comes in and he plays well. E'Twaun Moore on the slick side, to be honest with you. E'Twaun Moore has really struggled, you know, and the Pelicans are winning, and nobody's really talking about it, but E'Twaun Moore is really struggling. He's in this stretch while Anthony Davis's players just the umbrella effect that's shielding everybody. But E'Twaun, he got to get his game together. He had 2 of 6 shooting, 1 of 3 from downtown. He had 6 points in 29 minutes. But he did have a pretty decent defensive game to his credit. But he has really struggled shooting the ball as of late. But we're about to go into our first commercial break. When we come back on the other side of the break, we'll finish up on all of our Pelican topics. We'll play our interviews from Jrue Holiday and the man of the hour, Anthony Davis. All this on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans. Attention, everyone. Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is The Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, theposhlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's The Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFE, style.com. Put in The Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with The Posh Lifestyle.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
That's right. Welcome back to the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network, covering the Pelicans' 125-116 win over the lowly Phoenix Suns as the Pelicans get their 6th straight win. That's the first time in a very long time. And that's largely due to the fact that Anthony Davis, who's on another level of playing right now, excelling all over the place. He adopted the mindset that Russell Westbrook have. Also, he getting tutelage from the IR from DeMarcus Cousins that he has to be the guy. He stepped his play up, and that's saying a lot for Anthony Davis, as he has his 5th 40-point, 10-rebound game in February. That's the most in a calendar month in the past 35 NBA seasons. How about this one? 50-point, 15-rebound games in the last 17 years. Anthony Davis has 3. The rest of the NBA combined 3. That's history now. Now we're gonna get into more of these facts, but before we get into the rest of those facts, which we'll do later on in the podcast, let's listen to the man of the day, Anthony Davis.
I'm just trying to do my part. Of course, we know they're kind of small. A lot of their bigs are in foul trouble, so I just wanted to hang around the rim as much as possible, knowing I had the size advantage and try to take advantage of it. So first couple shots went in. We were struggling on defense, trying to get back in transition, and then making shots as well. So second half, we kind of picked it up defensively. Got back, kind of slowed Devin Booker down a little bit, and then was able to come out on top.
Have you ever fouled out a front line before?
Nah, as I know of. Yeah, I think 3 of them, they had to go small. So when they were small, after Wayne picked up his last one, we kind of just try to attack the paint.
Is this the best basketball you played personally in the league?
I don't know. I mean, I just go out there and just play. You can decide that.
Are you a fan of history of the game? I mean, your nightly performances are being compared to Wilt Chamberlain, Larry Bird. I mean, can you put that in perspective? Do you think
it was amazing. But at the end of the day, I just try to go out there and win. Whatever I do, of course, being in a category with those guys is an honor for me. But I don't try to go out there and try to, get those points to be in the category with them. I just try to do what I can to help the team win.
That y'all have been gutting these games. What are the expectations you have for yourself and for the team the rest of the way? Do you feel like there's a real big chance for you to move up into the standings?
Yeah, that's what we're thinking about. And that's how we're playing. We're not, worried about anything else. We just take it a game at a time. Just try to make our way up the ladder. That's really it. And then when April, whatever that last game, 12th, something like that, come around, we want to be in the picture.
What did that kind of feel like walking to center court? You think you scored a 53rd point, you walked to center court, you kind of went to the fans.
I got emotional again. It's just the way we're playing. Everybody's pitching in. We're playing tremendous right now, and everybody's stepping up. And the fans are into it, the bench into it. The 5 guys on the court talking and helping each other out.
That's Anthony Davis, man, breaking down his thoughts on the game and where the Pelicans want to position themselves. And of course, currently the Pelicans are 35-26, 8 games above 500. That's the first time that they've been that many games over 500, anytime over 500, to be honest with you, and since Monty Williams was here. Under L. Gentry, this is his 3rd and final year here in terms of contract speaking. He signed a 3-year deal to coach this team. And he's never, the first 2 years were disasters. And of course that's written off largely in part because of the injury situation. I understand that. But that wasn't just injury situation. It was just a lot of bad, poor moves. But, that's a subject for another day. The Pelicans are excelling right now. Right now. And they're playing with confidence. And remember, a lot of these teams that they're playing, giving them their best shot. The Pelicans are winning games in overtime. They're winning games differently every night. They're fighting, playing defense. And L. Gentry will keep it real with you. He'll tell you, hey, our transition defense was terrible, was awful. But they still found a way to pull out wins here. If they can ever solve those issues where the defense can step up and make the plays and the stops that's needed, the Pelicans could be a dangerous team. And I heard what Stephen A. Smith said. I could play it. I'm not going to play it. Well, he talks about it being in New Orleans and the fact that that Anthony Davis would get a lot more attention if he didn't play for the New Orleans Pelicans. But, hey, Stephen A., he plays for the Pelicans, okay? He doesn't play for your favorite Cleveland Cavaliers or your favorite Golden State Warriors. That's the problem with the league. Everybody wants the same junk. New Orleans Pelicans have an opportunity to really compete. They can play with the big boys, and playing on this level, even though they've wrestled with beating Golden State. But this team could beat anybody on any given night when they mind right. Bottom line. And that's just something we just have to mention. But in the end, they better than the New York Knickerbockers, who a lot of people still want to put on television for whatever reason. But the Pelicans are for real, man. And, only thing they have to do is keep winning, and we'll get a couple of bandwagon fans that'll jump on the board. But the Pelicans are for real. Anthony Davis is for real. And they finally formed a nice cohesive parts around him, the reserves around here, and couple that with the fact Jrue Holiday is playing at an awesome level. And they're going to make some moves in the postseason, by the way. But speaking of Jrue Holiday, here he is with his thoughts after the game.
You want to comment about AD's performance just tonight and the last 6 games?
Thank you, Anthony, for carrying us. Appreciate you.
I mean, and this is another game where y'all came back from that, I think it was like 17-point deficit. What are y'all able to do during those games where y'all fall behind, like just to roll back the way y'all did in that third quarter?
I guess just fight. I think we started to do the assignment that we were supposed to do, so that probably helped us out a lot. I think being able to run the floor, fast pace, getting to the bucket. Anthony fouled out 3 or 4 guys. I think that helped us out a lot too. So just some. I guess we just turned it on the second half.
There's some nights you said you couldn't tell how many points he had or whatever. Could you tell tonight that he was scoring?
I could. I talked to Josh Jackson when he had 50, and he's like, "You got 50?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's been killing you." All your bigs is on the bench. But I mean, man, that's Anthony. Like I said, thank you, Anthony.
I mean, he seems to get over his greatness, and he's obviously one of the top players in the league. But I mean, do you feel like he's making a case for MVP right
For
now?
sure, he's definitely overlooked. I think we're like 6 now or something like that in the West. But okay, now we're moving up. Again, we weren't in the discussion. I think we're like in the bottom 7 and lower. So even when you're putting them numbers, and the market's doing the same thing. I mean, they're fun to talk about, but when you're not. I mean, that top 3 in the West, you're not really talked about like that. But yeah, look at his numbers, man. He's something else.
Have you noticed something different in him, like just in the locker room in practice, or is it just?
Nah, that's Anthony. That's him. Every opportunity he gets, I think just now he's just being way more aggressive, especially when he has smaller guys on him. You have people like Rondo giving him the ball in places nobody else can reach. So I think just maximizing his abilities.
This is the longest winning streak you guys have had since you've been here. Does it feel like it's picked up the way that you wanted to?
Feels good, man. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. It feels good. Again, appreciate Anthony for putting us on his back. Respect the bag, but man, it feels awesome. But again, we got a tough one on what's that, Monday? We got a tough one on Wednesday, so. As much of a high as we can be on, we still have to stay focused.
That's Jrue Holiday, man. He's keeping it real, telling you, thank you, Anthony Davis. He might eat a little joke, but for real, man. Thank Anthony Davis, period, because a lot of this is because Anthony Davis. And, of course, some of these games, Jrue Holiday, thank you, Jrue Holiday, for the last game when you showed up huge. And, you know, even though Davis is putting up these astronomical numbers, I mean, 53 points, 18 rebounds, and 5 blocks in 39 minutes on 16 of 29 shooting with 21 of 26 from the free throw line. Did you just hear what I just said, family? That is amazing, man. 8 offensive rebounds, 10 defensive rebounds. It's just mind-blowing. And let's segue this from the game actually to some of the news articles. AD's record-setting February. Let me say this again. This is from ESPN stats. Anthony Davis has his 5th 40.10 rebound game in February. That's the most over the calendar month in the past 35 years. Then it's a 50-point, 15 rebound games in the last 17 years. Anthony Davis has 3. The rest of the NBA combined in the history have 3. So he's done 3 by himself, where it took a combination of players from the past umpteen years to do. You look at some of what Anthony Davis has done in February. He has a 53.17, 5 block, 17 rebound, 5 block game, 45.17 rebounds, 5 block game with 5 steals. He has a 44.17 rebound game with 3 blocks. He has a 43.10 rebound, 2 steal game, 42 points, 15 rebounds, 3 steal, 2 blocks game, a 38 points, 10 rebound, 3 block game, and then a 38-9 game with 2 steals. No doubt about it, Anthony Davis is definitely the player of the month. Now, let's give you some information here. During the 6-game winning streak the Pelicans have been on, Anthony Davis has averaged 41.5 points in a game. So 41.5 points a game, 15 rebounds, 3.2 blocks, 3 steals, 2 assists. That is totally mind-blowing. The type of statistics that Anthony Davis is putting up. He should definitely be in the MVP candidate if he can maintain this amount of production, and he's hell-bent on doing it. And it's not just him. He's feeding off of the solid play of the team around him. Good moves by Demps and the administrators that's finally got the vibe of this team together. And you can see they're flowing. Before, it took a while for them to compact. Now, when DeMarcus went out, we thought everybody was going to free fall. Anthony Davis stepped up even a larger role. They put the right components around him, and voila. Pelicans 6-game winning streak, first time since 2011. That's how long it's been since they had a winning streak of just 6 games. 6 games back in 2011. And of course, you heard Jrue Holiday in that interview talk about the fact that the Pelicans, however, have climbed into the rankings of the playoff race, as they currently, he said 6. Of course, the reporter corrected him and said, nah, y'all guys are sitting at 5. He said, okay, we're moving on up. And that is the great thing about it. The Pelicans, 6-game winning streak, they've now climbed up to the fifth spot. And of course, the only other teams above them right now, you got a 13 winning streak by the Houston Rockets. They just on fire. Golden State Warriors are playing really well, winning 7 of the last 10 games. They sit in the 2nd seed. Minnesota, who's a team, they did lose Jimmy Butler, but they still on a 2-game winning streak, winning 6 of 4. Then there's the Spurs, who did get back on the winning streak after losing 4. Now, that makes a very interesting play because the Pelicans face the San Antonio Spurs next. We'll talk about that. Very important matchup, because if the Pelicans can take care of business against the Spurs, that will do something terrific for the Pelicans. It could help get a little closer to that San Antonio club. And perhaps, they could swap position. Of course, the Spurs are 1 game or 2 games better than the Pelicans in the win column. And the Pelicans are just doing what they're supposed to do. Winners of 7 of the last 10 games. So we're going to preview that game toward the end of the segment. And I just spoke about playing it better as a team. When you speak about playing better as a team, the acquisitions that the Pelicans have brought in, whether you want to speak about Nikolai Mirotic, who's been the guy who's really helped this team in the second half, sometimes in the first, but really he's been the guy that really helped the team in the second half, and we'll tell you why. The team playing better as a team, period, is the fact that you have the right components. When Emeka Okafor came into the starting lineup, he allowed Anthony Davis to get back to being what he wants to do, which is to be the guy that operates to the 4 position. And since then, he's been lights out. He's been terrific. He's been lights out in that role. And that's one of the things we want to talk about when you deal about the Pelicans running out of juice. Notice that they're not really running out of juice anymore. We spoke about the team playing better, the camaraderie of the team, because everybody's found their roles. The third quarter troubles, that piece when we talk about the third quarter troubles and what's going on with that is the fact that Nikolai Mirotic is that guy. Even though he had 10 points, but Nikolai Mirotic has really stepped his game up to another level, and not just offensively, but defensively. You can't look at his stat line, and Rajon Gentry said this in a prior interview. You can't look at Nikolai Miricic's stat line and say, wow, he struggled in the game. He does so much in between the lines that you have to watch the actual game to see. He makes block shots. He alters shots. He challenges on defense everybody, whether it's the centers, the power forwards, the small forwards, the 2 guards or the 1 guards. He guards everybody. And he is a sneaky good defender. He runs the floor well, and he can shoot the ball, man. I mean, really, really well. And a lot of his production is coming in the third quarter. And it's allowing, of course, he's stealing some minutes from Sheik Diallo every now and again. And, of course, Darius Miller, who's kind of struggling off a bit, who's kind of tamped down. But Nikolai Mirotic provides that extra shooter and takes the pressure off a guy like Darius Miller. And it allows Anthony Davis to even sit down for a spell without missing any production. So a lot of this has to do, and they figured it out, to plug Nikolai in that third quarter, and he has really excelled in that position. So that was a masterful move, and a lot of masterful moves coming late, dealing with the loss of people like DeMarcus, and of course the shipping off of Dante Cunningham, who I told you shouldn't have signed in the first place. Look at the podcast from last year. But we eventually got the right mix of talents. Let's throw Emeka Okafor in there. Let's throw DeAndre Liggins in there, which was another solid move. DeAndre Liggins comes in, he plays good defense, and occasionally knock down a three. He's a big guard, 6'6". He's known to be a good defender, a sneaky, decent three-point shooter. Let's throw him in there. Walter Lemon Jr., they got a lot of love for him coming up. So the Pelicans have finally got the right mix, and one of the more their bench is starting really look good. Let's throw Ian Clark in there. How can I forget Ian Clark? And then, of course, Sheik Diallo, who's been playing really well. Of course, his minutes took a dip recently, but Sheik Diallo is a terrific talent, man. He's a hustle energy guy, and he brings a lot to this team. So I love what the Pelicans have done in terms of bringing the reserves in. Now let's talk about the Pelicans' four-game road trip. Of course, the Pelicans are coming up. They have a few obstacles coming ahead on this 4-game winning streak. It's not a tough 4-game a 4-game road trip as you would anticipate. They have the Spurs, which that is a big Wednesday night matchup against the Spurs. If they can beat the Spurs, they get even close to getting to that top 4. That is a big game coming down the stretch. And I love the fact the Pelicans on that 6-game winning streak. They're going to really be coming into San Antonio, and they play San Antonio well already. Kawhi Leonard's not there. Of course, DeMarcus Aldridge is a little off. They're going to have their hands cut out with the Spurs because of Greg Popovich's coaching ability. But the Pelicans, I couldn't have placed this game at a more perfect junction than putting it at right where it is with the Pelicans playing at a high level, 6 games going into San Antonio. Behind them, they got a lowly Dallas club. You got to watch out because Dallas did sneak a win in there against the Pelicans the last time they played. Then they got a tough Clipper club who they without Blake Griffin, but the Clippers are another one of those clubs that's milling back of that 8 and 9 seed that they're trying to keep pace with it, and then they finish out the 4-game road trip against the Sacramento Kings, which is a team that beat them. Think about that for a second. But let's get into the predictions on the final game. We're looking at the Sacramento Kings game. And the Sacramento Kings coming into this matchup with the Pelicans the San Antonio Spurs. You got to watch out for the Spurs. Spurs are a very good team, as we're talking about. And it's going to be interesting to see, but being that we kind of short on time, I couldn't give you my full stint of breakdown. But just to be honest with you, it's going to be a very intriguing matchup for the Pelicans to take care of business of. And I'm going to give credit to the Pelicans. I think they'll handle business against the San Antonio Spurs and get their 7th win of the season. This is a very important game. This is a really big game. They're playing at the ultimate level. I wouldn't dare pick up against them right now. They're really feeling it. Thank you for listening to the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network today. Thank you for your support. And if you want to support and help our platform grow, go to www.patreon.com/the PRO Media and donate. Also, go to www.thepashlifestyle.com. Support our sponsors and donate there as well. But thank you for everything. Thank you for your support. Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, world? This is DC from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Have you ever been sitting in front of your computer screen, or in traffic, tired, lacking energy, feeling drained? Did you know there are electromagnetic fields or EMF waves all around you that cause this disease? Get it? Dis-ease? Luckily here at Posh Lifestyle, you can get your EMF protection. They have pendants, the shell-dyed bricks, cubes, and pyramids. Check out the PoshLifestyle.com. That's life spelled with a Y. PoshLyfestyle.com for all your health needs. So get your mind and body right with a Posh Lifestyle.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. With a deep commitment to providing the highest quality products and excellent customer service, Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book. Providing cost-effective, reliable water filtration systems for residential, commercial, and industrial customers worldwide, offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.